Calvin Biz, this is for you. So, I've said it before, I don't use tabs. I don't really like them. I think that they're nice to have around, and a person that wants to learn something should be able to use anything at their disposal to try to help them become a better player, especially if you really have no idea where to start. But there are better tools that exist today than there was many a year ago, especially in the digital realm. Just about any software out there, I use SoundForge, but just about any software out there, or even Reaper for that matter, will allow you to slow things down to where you can kind of get a handle on where you're going to be, able to really hear each note for a duration, get it in your head, figure it out, oh, that's not the note, this is the note, and so forth. So, without too much exposition, I think it's important during this bit to speak about Uli's playing generally. And if I were trying to cover an Uli Roth tune, how I can be more Uli-like while I'm covering it. And I think it's kind of important, especially when we're touching on an artist of his magnitude. This guy he's Uli. Probably, he's influenced more people than more people care to talk about. And the only people that really, have, I think, a really great grasp about how he plays things and integrates them into their playing currently is like Marty Friedman or Jason Becker when he could play. They were touching on Uli-ness. So Uli has a particular way of phrasing. It's almost like he doesn't quite care where the note starts. He only really wants to get it to where it's going to go. I'll explain it better by some playing examples. Playing the intro to the solo for Why, which is what this whole thing is about anyway. So he starts out and doesn't goof like I just did, and a normal player would be like, all right, or maybe however they wanted to pull that off. But the nuance is really important to capture the Uli-ness of the moment. So if that's even an adjective there, the Uli-ness. But so he doesn't just he hangs on the note. The note is the most important thing, what he's trying to convey. It's not a straight to the F sharp. It's so it starts out, the bend starts a little slow. And you're gonna see this more, by the way. The bend starts a little slow and then goes right up to it. And then the vibrato he uses, and he uses vibrato almost everywhere. A lot of slides, a lot of bending up to notes from notes that you may or may not expect. But, kind of like if I was going... Weird stuff, but you'll see it when it's combined. It's all kind of mishmash together. It works. But this, so slow, kind of let the note sing, cry, what am. Here, his vibrato starts out slow. No vibrato, slight vibrato, getting wider as you go. And his vibrato gets pretty wide. To go up here, almost to a minor third. So if you know anything about theory, this being the distance between one fret and the second fret is a half step. A whole step would be skip that fret, a minor third. And why it's a minor third, the next one is a major third. That's the major sound. So major, minor. So if you didn't know, it's the third that tells you whether something's major or minor. But at any rate, so going on with this, and I'm not exaggerating. He really does shake the daylights out of the note. So, that's a little too high, sir. So, all in all, So you see what I mean? The other thing that he tends to do with note inflection, getting the most out of the music that he can, is he changes where he picks. It's not always in the same place. And to emote the best, you should probably consider that too. So, let's say, I'm just going to kind of make up some ooey-esque things. Modulated. So, in this case, he plays a lot right up, kind of on the fretboard. And you can hear the change in the way the pick sounds. Yeah, well, at any rate, back to what I was saying. So, when you're learning this, I want you to pay very close attention to the sounds that Uli's making. And I want you to pay very close attention to the sounds that you're making. So, if you hear Uli do a thing, and then you're playing the thing, I don't want you to think, all right, I sounded like him. You're hearing him still play it in your head when you're playing. And that's something it took me years to learn, is that when you're playing, you're still, when I'm playing somebody else's stuff, I'm hearing what they did in my head while I'm playing it and thinking, all right, I pulled it off. That isn't necessarily true. Listen very carefully to the way you're playing it. Once you have it to a degree of satisfaction that it is really what it sounds like, what you're playing is really what it's supposed to sound like, record it and listen to it. Listen to what it is. Be objective about it. Did you sound like what it is that you're trying to make it sound like? Now, I screwed up all over the place on my video. I'm first to admit it. And the Uli solo, because some of his techniques are so far out of my wheelhouse, because he approaches it from like a 60s or 70s, early 70s player with a whole lot of weird like violin technique that goes along with it. But he's really, a Hendrix guy. So I am not. Oddly enough, I am, nothing against the guy. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have Uli Roth. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had, Joe Satriani. I'm just not that big of a fan. It's no big deal. And, you can be. You don't have to be. It's none of my business, and I don't care. So, but the deal with Uli is, if we didn't have Hendrix playing in the crazy, weird ways that Hendrix sometimes did, well, shoot, he wouldn't be playing some of these techniques the way he does. So, I guess without further ado, we'll go ahead and start out with a bunch of cats playing in here. But we'll go ahead and start out with the beginning of the solo, and we'll work on it from there. I'm going to probably do this in a few parts, so you're going to have to forgive me for this, but I unfortunately have a bedtime. I work for a living, just like everybody else. All right, so we are tuned to E. There's an E for your trebles. E standard. A note on guitars. It doesn't totally matter. Of course, he was using, most likely for this, his modified Strat with the 24 frets, and he was probably using single coil pickups. It isn't completely necessary. There are ways of getting sounds out that can be single coil-esque with humbuckers. It is harder to do, but you can. And a note about Uli's wah playing. I am not going to incorporate wah into this instructional video, but much as with his emoting and propensity of using the slow to fast, small to large technique, the slow to fast meaning the elasticity of the bends and for the vibrato, he has the same type of thing with his wah playing. So the wah playing is, it's unique in the sense that it's not like waka chicka, waka chicka, waka chicka, but it's more along the lines of really getting a consonant out of the way so the vowel can really take hold of the word. So it would almost be like you've got to get it out so much, you start talking, and then open your mouth, ma, before, you want to get whatever it is you want to get out so much that you start it beforehand. So that whole ma thing works really well for his wah playing. So, like, his first note is with a wah. You'll hear a kind of a wah with it. So it's, and then crank it down as he's bending upwards. Wah. No, just leave the wah kind of cocked at that point. Wah. Notice where I changed the picking. So let's start this off. With all that said, those are notes that you're just going to have to use to your own advantage, especially with the wah, the vibrato, and all that stuff. And with all that out of the way, and I'm just talking with my hands here we go. So we're going to start out by bending from E to F sharp, which would be 17 to the 19th fret on the B string. And that's, you are picking that to the 15th fret, which is C, A. And we're going to take that. We play it slowly. We're going to jump up here. The majority of the solo is in D major, by the way. So it would be helpful if you already knew a lot of these notes and positions. It of course isn't necessary, but it really should be necessary after a period of time. So here, jumping up to the 21st fret, bending to the 22nd. And that's kind of a thing that you can do, by the way, with target notes. That's your target. Make that sound. And figure out how hard you have to bend to actually hit that note. After a while, it kind of gets ingrained in your muscle memory. It's kind of nice. So, from the 21st to the 22nd fret, or from the C sharp to D, A again, on the 22nd fret of the B string, that would be F sharp, to B again. Once it, that's a kind of a reverse bend. From the 22nd to the 4th. 24th it is. So we'll stop there and we'll recap. Starting with the intro, and we're going to play this nice and slow, but I'm going to keep all the feel and the exaggerated kind of notes in there, okay? Here we go. Okay, so once we're there, we're going to do a bend and a slide right after that. So, right there. It's weird. Sometimes things are actually easier to play fast. So, see what I mean? See, the positions are very much alike here. That's really the only notes we're really hitting here. Now we're going to start moving it around a little bit. So it's all slides there. Okay. So at this point, we're going to start introducing some chromaticisms. Meaning we're going to hit the note behind the note that we want to hit. Now you can hear people like Jason Becker doing this all the time. So in this case, it's really nothing different. Again, where we were starting from, so we're using the 21st fret there. So it's the first time we've really gone out of the D major key. That would just be sharping this G to G sharp, which puts us in a nice chromaticism right back very happily to D major, but in this case it also puts us in the same territory as A major, which is not really relative, it's just literally one note off. And this is a Beethoven trick. Have you ever heard of Joe Satriani talking about things like the pitch axis pitch axis technique? It's really more properly termed relative pitch modulation. So you're taking something with a pitch collection that is similar to the scale that you're using. In this case, it's D major, having all those notes in it, and A major. The only note difference is G. G being an F, there it is, or G being an F, sorry, G being in D. It's the fourth. And the, excuse me, that sounds terrible here, but the natural 7 there. There's the G sharp. Anyway, enough about the theory. I'm sure you're not that interested in it, but the concept is pretty sound. And for us, it creates something. So chroma, by the way, is color. So if you hear about chroma key, it's literally color keying. Or if you hear about quantum chromodynamics, chroma is color, so they're talking about the color force. In this case, color, it literally adds color to the sound, which is why chromaticisms. It's all the colors of the tones that are out there. So in this case, it acts as kind of a leading tone. It takes us from a place of a flat 7 that makes us want to go somewhere. In this case, the natural 7 makes you really want to go back there because it's so close. It's only one note away from where it is that you want to go. Well, enough expository stuffs about that. I think you're probably overwhelmed with it. We'll get back to what we were doing here. So once again, then way up. So that's just put your bending to that. So now we're going to go into a more pentatonic shape, starting on the 19th fret, bending up to but no, from there. Sorry. So all that part there, and I bend that. I bend that too. Without the harmonic. The next part. Or here. And then we start getting kind of crazy. Well, my good fellow, considering the time, it's 6:30, and I'm not even going to be able to get this thing finished up as far as the lead is concerned. But as far as the putting it on YouTube, for that matter, I'm not even going to be able to get that finished until after my bedtime. So I'm going to cut it here, and this may be up to 3 parts. I'm just letting you know. So an interesting thing about me and my guitar playing in general is when I get it in mind to learn something, I learn it. And once I've done it, I've finished it. I'm done. So I move on to something else. And I usually just kind of forget about everything that I've done. So it's just kind of it's part of who I am. It doesn't have to be who you are. There's stuff that I remember from when I was a kid. I learned the solo to Crazy Train when I was like 15, 16. And I've only been playing a couple of years. I still know how to play it. But, when you're older and you attack something, I'm almost 50. So when you're older and you attack something, it's kind of like, all right, I climbed that mountain. I don't have to keep climbing that mountain. I can climb another mountain now. And so, I'm done. What's next? So what I'm proposing here is that I'm going to turn this into like 2 or 3 parts. And I will relearn it as I go and try to make it as good as I possibly can for you. If you need me to slow down, let me know. If you need me to part this out further into individual licks and stuff like that, let me know. I'm interested to hear this. I don't really do these very often. So, and if I'm going over what I think is important as far as nuance is concerned a little too much, let me know. Talk to you later. Bye.